Welcome back to the Invested series. In part one, we explored what makes the Invested podcast so different, the dynamic between Phil and Danielle, the personal journey of learning to invest, and the emotional honesty that underpins every episode. Now let's get into the heart of their philosophy, something Phil Town calls rule number one, investing. It sounds simple, even obvious, but as you'll soon see, this rule is both deeper and more powerful than it first appears. Confident tone, clear delivery. So what exactly is rule number one? Phil defines it as, don't lose money. Yep, that's it. Sounds like a no-brainer, right? But let's be clear. This isn't about avoiding all risk. It's about understanding what you're doing well enough to avoid stupid risk. It's about investing in a way that stacks the odds in your favor. Phil borrowed this rule from Warren Buffett, who famously said, rule number one, don't lose money. Rule number two, don't forget rule number one. But the real power behind rule number one is how Phil and Danielle break it down on the podcast. They explain that losing money isn't just about picking the wrong stock. It's about investing without knowing the value of what you're buying. And that's where value investing comes in. Instructive tone, measured pace. Rule number one investing is value investing at its core. It's based on this idea. Every business has an intrinsic value, a true worth, and your job is to buy it when it's on sale. That means you don't invest in a company just because everyone else is. You don't chase hype or headlines. You don't bet on what might go up. Instead, you learn how to evaluate a business. You learn how to calculate what it's worth, and then you wait until the stock price drops below that value so you can buy it at a discount. This discount is what Phil calls the margin of safety. We'll talk more about that in a future episode. But the point is, this is intentional investing. It's not gambling. It's not speculation. It's a disciplined approach built to protect your capital and grow it over time. And here's where Danielle comes in. When the podcast began, she didn't know any of this. Not only was she unfamiliar with these concepts, she was skeptical. She had questions, like, how do you actually find out what a company is worth? How do you trust that you're not missing something? What if the numbers are right, but the future isn't? Phil doesn't just answer, he walks her through it. And in doing so, he walks us through it too. Together they unpack. How to read financial statements without a finance degree. What to look for in a company's business model. Why great businesses have long-term, predictable growth, and how you can recognize a great investment before the rest of the world catches on. It's not theoretical, it's practical. They often pull up real companies and talk through the numbers, discussing earnings per share, return on equity, free cash flow, and future growth projections, all in ways that regular people can understand. It's like a personal investing class you never knew you needed. Now you might be thinking, this still sounds complicated. But here's the thing Danielle proves, over and over again, you don't have to be a numbers person to do this. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to learn a simple, repeatable process and follow it with patience and discipline. That's the true essence of rule number one investing. It's about learning to think like an owner, not just a trader. When you buy a stock under this philosophy, you're not betting on a price to rise. You're buying part of a business that you believe in, a business you understand, at a price that gives you a built-in cushion if something goes wrong. That's how rule number one keeps you grounded and protects your money in both good markets and bad. So as you listen to Invested, or as you follow along with this series, keep this principle in mind. Don't lose money doesn't mean don't take any risk. It means take smart risk. It means understand what you're buying and never pay more than it's worth. This is the filter Phil and Danielle use for every decision, and it's what makes the podcast so powerful. In the next episode, we're going to explore something that most finance podcasts never touch, how investing and mindfulness go hand in hand. It's one of the most surprising and profound elements of the Invested philosophy. I'll see you there.